What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. Today I'm going to be doing this video on how much does a full vinyl wrap actually cost. This is a great question to address for those of you who are A, looking to get your car wraps, or B, those of you who are looking to get into the industry and don't know what to charge. There's a lot of variables to go through here, so it's going to be a bit of a lengthy video. I'll try and keep it short and concise, but it's going to be a bit of a lengthy video because there are so many variables to go through. One of the variables that comes to my mind is the brand of vinyl and the finish types. That can vary greatly in cost, and you have to price out accordingly. And so if you guys are looking for those installation videos, those high quality 4K installation videos on how to wrap with 3M, Avery, Vvivid, KPMF, Hexus, Oracal, check out my website. I'll put a link in the top corner and in the description below for you. It's very detailed videos, guys. I've got a 4K POV head cam to show you guys everything you need to know, as well as an entire beginner 101 section for you guys. Now, let's get into the actual quoting of the vehicle. We're going to take this vehicle right here, for example, since I have it in the shop, it's going to get wrapped. This car is getting wrapped in chrome. Now, this car is getting wrapped in titanium chrome and Hexus titanium chrome, and those videos will be on my website as well. But this car is actually pretty straightforward, and the customer actually made a few requests. Now, this car being black is one of the easier wraps to do because the vehicle is black. We don't have to wrap as far into certain areas as we do if the car was red. Now, let's take this car and imagine one in red, and we have this one in black. Now, this customer has opted to leave, they wanted this. The mirrors left gloss black. They want the door handles left gloss black on the bottom here. All the chrome trim is staying, and the roof is staying gloss black as well. So there are some parts right there that I'm not wrapping. That's gonna lower the price as far as the quote goes initially, because I don't have as much work to do right off the bat. Now, on top of that, there are certain areas that are not seen because it's just black, like down in here, right between the fender and the pillar. Down in this area, if you don't wrap far enough and you have a bright colored car, like a red car, you're gonna see down in this area. So with a red car, I actually wrap much further down to make sure I have that coverage, because the last thing I want is someone walking up to their car and it's gonna stare you in the face every time you walk up to your car, get in your car, you're gonna see down there and you're gonna see red. There are limitations to how much we can cover, okay? Especially when it comes to wrapping. There's some areas under the hood here that you might see from that point of view, but we're not wrapping the engine bay here. This is just, we're gonna get out of control. So we have to actually moderate where and how far we can go with the wrap. If you really wanna get into it and you really wanna spend enough money, you can pay to have these things wrapped, but it's not impossible. It just costs more money, which takes more time. So just keep that in mind when we're actually quoting the wrap. The red car is going to have red showing way down in here. While the black car, I don't have black showing way down here. I do, but I don't, because black is a shadow for the most part, it's a shade, and we don't see it. So it would not make any sense for me to charge the customer for the extra work of going down a little bit further in here than it will for the red one. Let's just say, for example, this chrome wrap, for example, I'm not telling you my prices. Let's say this chrome wrap is $6,000, okay? Without the mirrors, without the roof, without the door handles. That's a chrome wrap. Let's say if it's a red car, they're going to want the mirrors wrapped, for sure, at least in black. If not, they're gonna want them all wrapped in chrome, everything to match. So we're gonna up the price. I would say anywhere from, like, let's say if they were just to do the mirrors and the door handles and the roof in gloss black, we're up the price maybe like $500, because it's extras. So we have 2 extra mirrors, 4 extra door handles, and the roof, okay? I'm just throwing it out there, 500 bucks. If we have to do it in chrome, it's gonna be even more. It's gonna go up to probably more around the $7,000 mark, because chrome is much more difficult to use, guys. It's also a big variable in how difficult the film is to use. When I'm wrapping a red car, I'm going to have to just go in further and cover more areas. Like, even on a black car, I do wrap, just so you know, this little pinch weld right here. I wrap right up to this edge. Even on a black car, it doesn't matter. Same thing with the back door. I wrap in far enough so that this way, when we're looking at the vehicle from this perspective, I cannot see the color of the car through those gaps, okay? The only one I can't do is the one that's in front between the fender and the door right here, unless we remove the door. That being said, we can get into more technical aspect of things, like wrapping the door jambs. And I have a video on my website on how to wrap the door jamb, guys. So what we do is we take the doors right off and wrap this entire area right here and wrap all of this right here. And this ups the price substantially, okay? This is a lot of work. We're removing the doors, We're removing all the seals, we're removing all the plastics and the trim pieces and all that stuff. We're getting it all out of the way, all those brackets and all the hinges and all the bolts and all that stuff. It's a lot of work. Just the prep alone is a lot of work. And then we have to wrap it and then put it all back together. So it ends up raising the price drastically. Most people will not actually go for wrapping the door jambs. Most won't. Some will. And again, that's what I had recently. I had the Alfa Romeo with the door jambs being wrapped in gloss black. Because red is just more of an eyesore. So that customer had a red car and they wanted all that covered because they didn't want to see the red anymore. The only area that I didn't wrap on that vehicle was under the hood. That was it. Everywhere else, the trunk even got wrapped. More work equals more time equals more money. It's going to cost more. This is how you have to think about things. Now, you heard me throw that number out there as far as the price of chrome goes, $6,000. Okay, some of you are like, oh my God, that's outrageous. Think about this. Chrome is a very expensive material. In Canada, a roll of chrome is about $3,000, let's say. $3,000 just for the product. So if you're thinking that you're going to go out there and get a chrome wrap for like $3,000, you're actually out of your mind. You're not going to get that. If you're going to think that you're going to go out there and install one for $3,000 and make some money, you're not going to get that either. It's just not possible because the cost of the product is going to drive the price of the actual installation up drastically. Chrome is even much harder to install than, let's say, satin black. So there's also that factor as well. Now, if I was to wrap this vehicle here in satin black, oh, I'm only going to spend like $700, $800 on the roll if I was to use, let's say, Avery. Okay, $700 Canadian on the roll. For Americans, like $650, $700, maybe somewhere around there. Same thing with chrome in the US. It's going to be a little bit more. It's going to, sorry, a little bit less. It's going to be more around the $2,400, $2,500 mark probably. While in Canada, we're paying a little bit more. Now, if I'm going to be installing this in satin black, it's going to be much easier. But, for example, on this vehicle right here, the price would start about $3,000 start, okay? And depending on what they want and the intricacies involved in the details, the price would go up from there. It's good to have a starting point as far as the base price goes. It is good to have that. You have to look at a vehicle and be like, okay, like this vehicle, most four-doors are going to start around, let's say, $2,500, and that, or they're going to start at $3,000 or $3,500. Whatever it is the quality of the work that you do, you charge that level because it's important to be fair to customers. It's also important that the customer is getting, it's important that the customer is getting a fair value for what they're getting. If your wrap skills are not amazing or excellent or expert level, then your price is probably going to be a little bit lower. And, I know shops out there who are charging way too much for the quality of wrap that they're putting out there. It's just not fair to the customer. They get taken advantage of. At the same time, you have to balance out what is valuable for you. So you have to make sure that you're also making money in the time that you're spending for the quality of work that you're doing. So these are things to consider. Now, we have a varying array of brands on the market, okay? We have just some that come to my mind. We have KPMF, we have APA, we have Vvivid, we have 3M, we have TechWrap, we have, did I say Avery? We have Hexus, we have Oracal, we have PWF, we have so many different brands out there. And some of these brands are not made in the US. And so there's importation fees to import the products over to North America. So we pay a little bit more for some of those products, like, for example, Hexus. Hexus is coming most of the time straight from France. I don't believe any of it is manufactured in North America at all. Same thing with Oracal. I don't believe any of it is actually manufactured in Oracal. I know certain processes and stages are finished up in North America, but not with all brands and not with all films. And that's not the case with everything. Avery and 3M, I think for the most part, they're produced in North America. But as soon as we get into buying product from overseas, the price is going to go up already. You have to think about that because we have to pay import duties, taxes, fees, all that stuff. On top of that, we have many different finishes, guys. So we have, let's just, for example, say we have matte black, satin black, gloss black metallic. We have like matte black metallic. We have, black goes on and on and on. Same thing with gray. We have like Nardo gray, we have gunmetal gray, we have anthracite gray. There's so many grays, guys. There's elephant gray, and there's like primer gray, and there's literally 50 shades of gray out there, maybe more. So there's tons of grays on the market. And what product you choose has to do with what your customer wants. Finding the right shade and the right color of what they're looking for is very important. Keeping those color books, those swatch books on hand, very important. So you can show people what these colors look like in person. Just because you Googled an image or something doesn't mean it's what it's going to look like when you actually install it, because people edit their photos. So think about that as well. You want to be able to show someone in person, for the most part, what this finish is actually going to look like. Now, those finishes, they can vary in price. They can, and from brand to brand. So let's say Vvivid has satin black, Avery has satin black, 3M has satin black, let's say Oracal, Hexus, and every other brand has satin black. Now, all of those brands have a different price points. None of them are exactly bang on the same. And so whatever brand you choose kind of has to more or less do with the customer, but also what you trust in the brand itself. Is it worth using the more expensive brand because you trust it? That fee that you're paying for the brand and the trust in the brand that you're using is going to then trickle down onto your customer, because why would you pay it? So that's something to consider. Now, if you trust brands that cost less and you're good at installing them, well, then you can actually charge your customer a little bit less, or you can try to keep the price competitive and keep it around the same. In this case, you might make a little bit more money, but that's totally up to you in running a business. What's fair in the end is usually whatever the difference of the prices in material, I charge the customer the difference in the price of material cost, because for me, it's not so much the difficulty. I don't mind the difficulty. It's like so for example, Avery is probably one of the easiest vinyls to use. And when it comes to satin black, I'm not going to charge a customer for 3M satin black. Why? When it costs like $100 more a roll or $150 more a roll. Why would I have them pay for that? In my opinion, it's just not worth the money. And it's not worth it for them to pay it. So when I can install Avery satin black really easily, really nicely, it's a great finish, comes out looking really good, it's durable, it lasts, as far as pigment fades and things like that go, why would I opt for 3M? It makes 0 sense. Why pay more? It's the exact same thing, more or less. Some of you want to argue with me on that, that's fine. That's okay. You can drop a comment below, I'll read it. But there are a lot of variables when it comes to this kind of stuff, guys. So we also have textured finishes. And when we get into textured finishes, this ups the difficulty, can up the difficulty substantially, okay? We're getting into a textured finish, let's say like brushed metal. Brushed metal is a very particular finish to install. If you overstretch that in any way whatsoever, more than one area over another, it looks horrendous, okay? I've seen some really horrendous brushed metal wraps out there, and I've seen some really amazing ones. The amazing ones I have great appreciation for because I understand what it takes to be able to install it. So when it comes to brushed metal, it's not as expensive as chrome, but it's not as cheap as, let's say, satin black or a regular color, because it's a textured film. The price point, for example, for Avery brushed metal here is about $1,400 a roll Canadian. Just the roll of material is going to cost already $1,400. So how the heck can you charge, $2,000 or $2,500 for the wrap? Especially if you have overhead and people to pay, it's never going to happen. The price has to go up because of the cost of material. Not so much the difficulty. Like I said, I won't even charge the customer, personally speaking, the difficulty level. What I will, however, charge for is if we have extra things to wrap. Let's say there's trim pieces that run down the side of the car. Well, those trim pieces that run down the side of the car are all extra pieces that need to be probably removed, then reinstalled, then wrapped, like prepped, wrapped, and reinstalled. Okay, that's more work. The job itself is going to take longer. This one being as simple as it is, like if this was an Avery satin black wrap, I could probably wrap this whole car in one day, leaving the door handles, mirrors, and roof alone. That's how quick it would be. But in chrome, it's going to take me more days, okay? It's going to take me definitely more days. It's going to take me probably like 3-4 days to do this properly. I can do this properly with Avery satin black, trust me, in a day. And keep it for another day after that and make sure everything's good. But that's the difference in difficulty, okay? Now, that difficulty is costing time, and the time that it costs to do that is worth money, okay? It's not free. No one goes to work for free anywhere in the world for the most part, unless you're volunteering. That's a different story, but none of us are here volunteering. I do love doing this, but at the same time, this is my livelihood, and this could be your livelihood as well. And so you do have to support yourself. Now, when we get into different products, and let's grab the camera so I can actually show you what these different materials look like, because I have a whole bunch of them here. Now we're going to get into all these different brands. We've got on the top here, we've got Avery, that's just gloss rock gray. We've got 3M 2080 I don't know what the heck it was called. It's this white with gold flake. We have Innotek, okay? This is actually a quite expensive film because this film is about $1,200 Canadian a roll, and it's only 60 or 65 feet. So we're actually 10 to 15 feet less than a standard roll of vinyl. All of these guys at a full roll come 75 feet, 75 feet, 75 feet, 60 or 65, I can't remember. This is 3M again, this is Avery again, and then we get into print films. Print films are more custom, okay? This price can go all over the place, and we're not really gonna get into that because print films are not installed as frequently as color change films, I would say. In the sense of like an aesthetic. In an advertisement form, okay, fine, you're gonna get into print films, but that'd be more in the commercial side of things. Okay, then we have stuff up here like the industrial from, indestructible from Vvivid. We have interior carbon fiber from Vvivid. This is the epoxy carbon fiber. We have right here is Vvivid's gloss black, the new one, the ultra gloss. Here's titanium chrome from Hexus. Here's satin black from Avery, and here's the new candy red from Vvivid. We're gonna get over here. We've got, and all these prices change. This cost me about $3,000 a roll, guys. That's what that costs for that roll. That's not full, but when it's full, it costs that much. This guy right here is about 800 bucks. That's Avery full roll satin black. This one right here, Vvivid, is about 700 bucks, okay? And then the carbon fiber, obviously, we're getting into more textured stuff, costs more. This stuff costs also more as well. It's thick, it's heavy, it costs more to transport, to ship it, to make it, all sorts of things, more material in it. We have exterior carbon fiber right here. This is the Tech Art carbon fiber. We have the Stealth Camo from Vvivid. Again, getting into textured films. Harder to install, costs more money as well. Brushed black metal that I did on Will Motivation's Lamborghini Aventador. Beautiful, beautiful finish, but again, much harder to install. If we stretch this out in the wrong direction, it ruins the entire piece. It ruins the entire panel if you actually leave it on like that. It looks terrible. Then we have another roll of Avery. It's about 800 bucks. Another roll of Avery, about 800 bucks. You can see that I like Avery. It's a very popular product as far as their colors go. They have a lot of them. More in Innotek. Hexus, okay? Here's the Hexus. This is what I did on the McLaren 570. Another very difficult film to use, guys. Even though this is just gloss blue, it is super hard to install this, okay? This is not an easy wrap to do. It's a challenging vinyl to use. I do love their product, but it's a very challenging vinyl to use. This one right here, we have Vvivid's Galaxy Purple. I think that's what it was called. Another challenging product to use. It's thick, it's hard to use. This is KPMF Crimson Red, I think is what it's called. Beautiful color, look at that, it's beautiful. I'm excited to install this one. Then we get into more specialty finishes like the Kevlar Chrome from Vvivid. But now we have Hexus down here, Gloss Pearl White. Over here, we have what's on my Jeep right now, Chrome. This is where we get into the really expensive stuff, okay? This is probably the most expensive as far as chrome, as far as vinyls go. Okay, we've got Chrome, Alligator. Honestly, I have no idea what project I'm going to use this on yet, but there will be something cool. We have satin chrome right here. This is Hexus. All this is all Hexus, okay? We have the gloss light blue chrome, more titanium chrome. Look, the product costs $3,000, $3,000, $3,000, $3,000, $3,000, and then that guy right there, not $3,000, but still quite expensive, okay? We get into some pretty pricey stuff depending on what you want. Now, when we get into actually wrapping with these products, the chrome itself will only give me one chance for the most part to make it come out really nice. After that, you start playing around with it, it compromises the finish and the quality of the finish. So as you play around with the chrome more, the finish on the product diminishes. That happens a lot with other films as well, but not as much. Usually on, let's say, a satin black wrap or even a brushed metal wrap, if I happen to overstretch that brushed metal or that satin black, I can then lift the panel up, heat it, shrink it back down, and a lot of that will heal right out, or most of it will go away and the finish will return back to its original self. So again, talking about difficulty, the gloss chrome that I'm about to install on this vehicle right here is about 4 or 5 times as difficult as satin black, if not more. It's a very difficult vinyl to work with. And again, it's only giving you that one chance to make it right. After that, the finish starts to go down. The quality of the finish starts to go down. You're not gonna get that so much with other brands, so you're gonna have an easier time when it comes to the installation. Now, should the customer pay for how much more difficult the vinyl is to use? Well, if you're a professional, if you're really, really good at it, and none of the difficulty of the film doesn't really weigh on you so much, and and you're able to knock it out in the same amount of time, roughly as a easier film, then don't worry about it so much. Then you can keep the price generally not marked up too much. But again, in the case of chrome, we're going to mark the price up quite a bit more because, again, we might end up doing a panel more than once just because we want it to come out perfect. That is a product that is going to show many different imperfections as far as the installation goes. And so you want to make sure that that vehicle wrap comes out perfect, especially for the price they're charging. The price automatically starts at $3,000. That's if you don't want to make any money on it, okay? So that's right off the bat. That's $3,000 that somebody has to shell out just for a product, just for the material. Now, any kind of money that people are spending on their vehicles is important to respect that. It's when you're getting into wraps, the scariest part, I guess, is how happy is the customer going to be in the end? How happy are you going to be in the end spending your money on a vehicle wrap? Do your research as far as being a consumer goes, and find out what shops are offering the best quality versus the price in your area. At the same time, if you can't find a shop that's offering the highest quality but at a lower price than you're willing to pay, then I'd probably just not even spend your money on it. Save your money for the shop that is, if you really care about the highest and the best quality, save your money for the shop that is charging the most but with the best quality. Don't save your money for the shop that's charging the most with mediocre quality, because there's plenty of those out there, and I've seen enough of them. But as someone who's getting into the business, you also need to be fair to your customer. Like I said in the beginning there, you've got to charge accordingly based off of your skill level. If you know, or if you're worried that the customer is probably going to end up coming back to have something fixed, then it's an inconvenience to them more than anything else. Sure, you can fix it, but just think about this in your head. The customer has to come out of their way, drop their car off for maybe half a day, maybe a couple of hours, maybe a whole day. I don't know how bad it is. But it's an inconvenience and a disservice to your customer because you don't want them to have to come back for that kind of stuff. It's great to have inspections and do inspections. It's great to talk about that with your customer and have them come by so you can check it out. I do follow up for the most part with people to make sure, but I also urge them to tell me if they notice anything wrong with the wrap, because even I make mistakes. I'm not a perfect wrapper. There's no such thing as perfection in this world. We do our best, and that's the best that we can do. In the end, my customers or my clients can be assured that there is A, no damage to their vehicle, and B, they're probably not going to have to come back, but just in case, I'm always here and I'm willing to back up my work 1000%. Backing up your work is the most important thing you can do. Some people get upset, it's how you deal with these kinds of things, because you have to understand that they had to come out of their way to get something fixed. It's somewhat your fault for maybe not being as good at doing this yet as you will be later on down the road. For as many times as you will succeed, you'll actually fail probably many more times than the times that you succeed, until you get to a point where your success ends up being higher than the times you fail. But it takes time for that to level out eventually in the middle, and then eventually your success will be much higher than the times that your wraps will fail. I mean, it's rare that something happens on a wrap, but hey, if it happens, I'm always here to fix it. Like I said, as you get better and as you start to understand the films a little bit more, you're going to then realize, okay, now I can charge more. My quality of work is like any of the best shops out there. And so you should be meeting that market value right there. If not, you can even come a little bit higher. Why does anyone buy a Louis Vuitton wallet? But my $30, I don't have it on me, my $30 Ralph Lauren wallet holds money and does all the same things as a Louis Vuitton wallet that costs $500, $600, $700. Why would anyone buy that? Well, there's some kind of, obviously, a prestige or there's some kind of satisfaction of having the best. And so if you end up thinking that you're the best, and maybe you are in where you live and where you work, then you probably want to charge more because you want to stand out. You want to be bringing in the people who want the best, okay? It's not possible, really, in all honesty, to have the best and pay this is impossible. If you're doing that, that's okay. You can do that as a shop or someone getting into the industry. You can do that. If you're maybe doing spectacular work, better than all the wrap shops out there, you can keep your price where you want it and raise it slowly over time. That's sort of how I did it. I started in the beginning and I kept my price low, and it actually upset a lot of shops. I was putting out pretty good work, you know, like it was just what I did. And I got a lot of people coming to me for that. You know, was I making as much money as I could have? No, but you know, I was putting out work that other shops were putting out, and I was wrapping cars out of my home garage, and I was putting it out for, you know, $1,000 less. Eventually I raised the price, and you raise the price up because then, you know, now I got a shop, now I have more stuff to pay for. It's just, that's how it goes, right? You want to expand, you want to grow, and that's how any business works in the end. You want to make sure that this isn't just, you know, to make ends meet kind of thing. You're trying to get ahead in life, and getting ahead in life, you know, you do have to work on your skill level in what you're doing, and you also have to charge more once your skill level does get up there. Practice makes perfect, guys. Invest 10,000 hours into car wrapping. It might seem like a lot, and it is, but it will get you what you want in the end. You may even get to that point of being pro or experts or a master before you hit that 10,000 hour mark. But that 10,000 hour mark is kind of a staple in, you know, experience. Okay, this goes across the board for many different things. Those hours invested in practicing and failure and coming back up and doing it all over again, it's important to go through all that. It's a step, it's a process. It builds a great foundation for you, and you understand where you came from, and you understand, you know, how much it took to get to where you are and get all this knowledge. You know, again, I started a website with all my knowledge on it now, and a lot of you are upset about it because I put my knowledge on a website and I expect people to pay for it. Is that wrong of me to do that? I mean, I have a lot of great knowledge to give out there for you guys, and so I'm trying to also grow my end of things as a business as well. I do these YouTube videos as, you know, as I like to, they're fun to do, but I do love to teach, and in order for me to be able to keep teaching, I needed the website. To be able to focus on what I wanted to do. I wanted to have a forum with open discussion where I could have you guys post up pictures of your projects, ask me questions directly. I can't answer questions on YouTube, it's impossible. There's a million questions. Honestly, if you guys look through them, there's so much junk on there half the time that people are just complaining about or whatever else it is. And a lot of times, yeah, I do want to answer the questions, but I need one place where I can answer questions. I can't do it on Facebook, I can't do it on Instagram, and I can't do it on YouTube, all over the place. That's what I have my website for. On top of that, I dedicate more time into my videos for my website. Again, this is all a process of growing and learning from the ground up. Did I know these things all in the beginning? No, and I'm still learning things nowadays too. I just even saw an amazing new technique, which again, I'm gonna put on my website, and you know, on how to alleviate tension and stretching into recesses. So these things are very important. If you're actually dead serious about doing this, it's gonna take some work, guys. You need to know what you need to charge, and you have to know about how to go about being fair to your customer and yourself at the same time with the quality of products or with the different brands of products that are out there. Guys, I do hope this video is informative and helpful in talking about, you know, why a vehicle wrap costs what it costs, and the variables that go into the vehicle wrap itself. Again, cars will vary, and you have 2 doors, 4 doors, you have sensors, you don't have sensors, you have trim pieces, you have this and you have that, and you have so much stuff that in the end, you do have to have a base price, and you kind of work off of that and go up from there. And as your skill level improves, your base price usually goes up from there as well. Guys, again, looking forward to doing more videos for you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it very much. Take care.